explain. I will not tell the beginning of the dream, but I went into the house. I was told the house was blocked from entrance, and I said, "Well, damn the consequences!" And I jumped over. I went into the house. I locked the door. My father-in-law was coming down the stairs, but I didn't know he was coming down.
No. Listen, let me tell you something. I want to correct you.
Yeah.
Because whenever we want to talk about Uchechi, we cannot put Mazi inside. We are talking about Uchechi. I'm talking about Uchechi physically. Yeah. I know. Mana look, Mandela, sorry, Mazi, Mandela, no 21 years. Puta dissolve chupo Winnie. Because here Winnie exactly here Uchechi. The reason why Mandela di chupo Winnie Mandela exactly here Uchechi na radio IPOB terrorist Nigeria. Na say I na ya nro ebe ogara na compound na kingdom or na agbachi regate agbachi, no way for her to enter. She forced herself to jump inside the compound or jump inside the compound. Then the king go Mpama Nnamdi Kanu durukwa ya instantly mepe gate. From the gate. Now, don't worry, everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. Gate.
The only time I had to shed a tear was when I told him my dream. The dream I had on the 27th of March. For the very first time, my father-in-law came to me. I told him the dream. So Papa came to me for the very first time. In fact, some days before the 27th of March, I was speaking, and I was just speaking because I usually speak to spirits. I just speak. And I said, "Oh, Papa, I've never seen you since you left." And the next night, he appeared to me. I will not explain. I will not tell the beginning of the dream, but I went into the house. I was told the house was blocked from entrance, and I said, "Well, damn the consequences!" And I jumped over. I went into the house. I locked the door. My father-in-law was coming down the stairs, but I didn't know he was coming down the stairs. I heard his voice whilst I was turning the key. Explain. I will not tell the beginning of the dream, but I went into the house. I was told the house was blocked from entrance. And I said, "Well, damn the consequences!" And I jumped over. I went into the house. I locked the door. My father-in-law was coming down the stairs, but I didn't know he was coming.
Who has just come on board. Very enthusiastic to solve this problem. And then he has reached out to the IPOB. The IPOB and the religious and traditional rulers in Anambra State and the Southeast sat down and discussed with the IPOB. And they convinced them that the fastest way that Nnamdi Kanu can come out is a political solution. And they believed and are ready to walk along that line. Then another group, another faction, which is led by somebody not even from Anambra State in the IPOB, and then some foreign supporters of the IPOB say no, they're not ready to dialogue with the state government. And state government says, well, if you are not ready to dialogue with us, we consider you as criminals and we'll face you. But you can see that they don't even have the capacity to face those ones. And they are still raining mayhem.
Well, Chief.
The governor doesn't have police, he doesn't have army, he doesn't have anything.
Okay, we have to talk about the Southeast agenda now as we coast home, because this is a big one. We're a quarter to 2023, as I like to say. So it's important to at least keep tabs with the moves.
The allegations of IPOB and all of that. But IPOB has come out and emphatically stated, and I believe them, that they are no longer part of this criminal gang, as it were. And they are now working with us. And we'll probably see their own actions in the next few days, and the people are waiting to see what they can or cannot do to join us. And we called on them on the day of our inauguration that if you are not part of this, come.
They told us, they came to us and said we should, the governors came, not the army now. The governors came and said we should hand over Eastern Security Network to them so that they will be paying these young men salaries and put them on salary scale and the rest of it. And now they feel that they have gotten all they want. These men, this camp has become the expendable for them. Now they were able suddenly to be able to go in and attack and destroy this. Of course, it's good that they took away these billions that had been causing a lot of trouble for the Biafran people. But that is if they are not going to relocate them to another place and then begin to continue their trouble. But we are waiting for them, and we are ready for them.
The leader of the autopilot is calling some men in our camps, and we have given an order in the ESN camp. Anybody that pick his call to bring it to any commander, the person should be executed. Anybody that pick his call to bring it to any commander, the person should be executed. Anybody that pick his call to bring it to any commander, the person should be executed. Because the person who says he's the leader of the autopilot is calling some men in our camps. And we have given an order in the ESN camp. Anybody that pick his call to bring it to any commander, the person should be executed. Anybody that pick his call to bring it to any commander, the person should be executed. Anybody that pick his call to bring it to any commander, the person should be executed. I am not telling you, ask Barrister Geoffrey. Did any governor told him that they are rounding up on Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? I don't want to mention some names, but there are people.
I got
yes, you. Yeah, there are people before that time when they had that meeting in Enugu where all the governors gathered. That was the day the meeting was sealed. But our leader somehow is also he had his own mind. You understand me? Even if you give him a security tip, sometimes
you all had it. So
they're taking advantage of hostilities in the southeast, but not to them. They don't know the kind of role I'm playing to make sure there's peace in our land. Because some people are benefiting. They are benefiting from the hostilities. People who are apparently agents of foreign government. That I supposed to have a meeting on Sunday being 6th at 10 a.m. somewhere. I may not mention it here. But I'm waiting for them because I'm going to mention them that shut the whole world. If they are unable to investigate what all happened in my house,
don't do this. Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor became #1 enemy of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's siblings. And nke ebe okwu no we kpotoko bụ mgbe Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor sue Eberima, because most of you don't know what is going on. Mgbe Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor jezi sue Eberima, now. But the question is, don't go to this, but don't do this. Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor became #1 enemy of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's siblings. And nke ebe okwu no we kpotoko bụ mgbe Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor sue Eberima, because most of you don't know what is going on. Mgbe Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor jezi sue Eberima, now. But the question is, every born Igbo man or woman will agree with me that Eberima crime against Ndibo, because Kanu is the one directing him on what to do. Let me repeat. Here is the message. No, let me not show. So his name will not show. He said, Ikenga, Uruago, what did I tell you? I told you Kanu will never speak against Simon's crime, against Ndibo, because Kanu is the one directing him on what to do.
All right, no problem. So I'm calling from Las Vegas, United States.
Okay.
So I want to ask you. I glanced through your video right now.
Is it the first time? Is it the first time you're watching me?
This is my first time I'm watching you. I just.
All right.
Through your videos right
All
now.
right.
So I want to ask you a question. I heard you talking about the self-referendum going on.
Yes.
You said those guys are eight persons.
Yes.
So I want to ask you a clear question.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you belong to the US. The straightforward question: what is the US doing to restore Biafra?
The US is at the moment is not restoring Biafra. We are trying to create awareness to waken people like you up and others in Biafra land to know that we need to be free, because we can't do it alone. We have a population that are misled to believe that Nigerian government is there for them to cater for their needs. So you cannot get your referendum where you've never carried your people along, where you've never waken your people up to know they need to be free. So what we are doing now is we are creating awareness. We are not rushing. We know what is holding Biafra.
Well, what you must know is that Nnamdi Kanu is being held hostage on behalf of the famed unity of Nigeria. That's what it's all about. It's as simple as that. If you mention his name in certain circles, they don't want to hear it because they feel like he threatens the real estate called Nigeria. And his Igbo makes it worse because Nigeria's DNA hates the Igbo for attempting, in the 60s and, towards the end of the 70s, to leave a country they said is no longer favorable to their existence. But I keep saying, and I will repeat here again, is there any Nigerian out there in their majority who has not mentally seceded from Nigeria? Not many. That's why people are living in droves. Each time you get on a plane leaving this country is full, each time it's coming back, probably full too, but it is those who are coming back to pack their things that are coming back. That's the way I describe it. But the truth is that Nnamdi Kanu has been held hostage. He was abducted from Kenya, extraordinary rendition. The fact that he's kidnapped from Kenya could not be explained shows that any judicial pronouncement or processes after that is null and void. You cannot go and kidnap somebody and bring them before a court. And the courts have made it very clear, even up to the Supreme Court, that he did not jump bail. It was the military that went to his house to kill people, and then he escaped. And now you have brought him back, you ought to respect and restore his bail. That's what I told his lawyers. Why are you applying for bail again? Because the Supreme Court made all the pronouncements except releasing him. And I think it was because they were afraid. And that's why I say he's a hostage to this country. And like you rightly said, there are other people who have made even more egregious pronouncements and fought and carried arms in this country. And you have not treated them the same way because they're not Nnamdi Kanu's, their name don't sound East. And I'm not here to fetish being able. But the reality is that they are not treated fairly. And Nnamdi Kanu is part of the reason why that is clear to everybody.
Right.
And by the way, I must also reveal here that there are some Igbo elites who are behind this. Whenever there's a crime of conspiracy against freedom fighters, there are people inside and outside who are working together.
So let me use this opportunity to thank Senator Ifeanyi Ubah. I want to thank him for his swift endeavor to facilitate my visit to my husband. Thank you very much, sir, for your kindness. And to all the well-meaning Igbo politicians, governors, and elites who are concerned, I want to tell you something. A lot of these elites are concerned about this illegal incarceration of my husband. And they are taking several steps to secure the actualization of sitting at a table. But some of them prefer their names unmentioned.
There is a man called Ifeanyi Ubah, they said it's from Italy. As soon as this whole thing started, he went about lying to the presidency of the zoo that he talks to me every day. I have never in my life spoken to Ifeanyi Ubah before. I have not. He kept using the name of IPOB to extort money. Very comfortable individuals in and around the Nnewi during this period. He has been going around duping people, obtaining money from them with falsehood, because he claimed that he would defend their properties for them and prevent our angry young people from attacking them. And he told Asorok that we speak on a daily basis, that he is in control of what is happening on the ground. That was the man that when this whole thing started, he was the one that was seen distributing 20,000 naira each to some hooligans. Very, very sad indeed. Those people that later on decided to occupy the road leading from Onitsha to Owerri, that necessitated or warranted the order that I gave during one of our emergency broadcasts that they should clear from the roads, which they did. If you know this man, Ifeanyi Ubah, who is from Nnewi, you go and warn him. All those stupid politics and games they play, we don't play it. We are IPOB. We don't play all those. They can play that nonsensical games with the hotelier. Not with us. Because we are very, very serious. If you have been duped with the name of IPOB, if you have been deceived into thinking that Ifeanyi Ubah has the ear of anyone, not even the unit coordinator in his village, then you are grossly mistaken. We don't know who he is, and we do not care to know who he is. The people of Nnewi should please take note and stop giving him your money or allowing him access to whatever influence that he thinks you may be able to wield in Abuja based on these lies he's been propagating. We don't know who he is.
You see this man called Ifeanyi Ubah. It's not today this man started fighting Biafra, freedom, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu sent this warning before Ifeanyi plotted for his kidnap with the Nigerian government, where Ifeanyi was using Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's name to dupe people, lying that he always speaks to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
The politicians are doing whatever they can to nail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What has happened to him? They are part of it. The politicians are doing whatever they can to nail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What has happened to him? They are part of it. They are working hard to make sure Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not be released. To nail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The politicians are doing whatever they can to nail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What has happened to him? They are part of it.
Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act says I cannot be tried in Nigeria. That's the law of Nigeria. I can never be tried in any court of law in Nigeria. That's what the law says. Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. Not me. As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committed an act of terrorism. Yes. Very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct a trial is not done anywhere in the world. I'm having in my case. Nobody has, there's no exception. No exception whatsoever. That's what the law says. Section 12 of the Constitution, what does it say? Any treaty ratified by Nigeria becomes law. It's law. You cannot change it. It doesn't matter what they do. All these shenanigans is just pure rubbish. You never stand. Not with me. Okay. I believe in justice and fairness, that's all.
Nigeria signed to extradite, not to rendition.
But that's what you wrote. You said here, my lord, that the defendant has now applied for bail. Now, as I've said earlier, bail is a decision of the court taking into consideration all the conditions laid down in Muhammad Abacha v. State. At this stage, I am of the opinion that to make or take a stand on the bail application without first hearing and determine the issue that is glaring in the face, which is the absence of the defendant from the court since 25th of April 2017 until he was produced on the 29th of June. My lord, which was exactly what the Supreme Court did. They said that he did not jump bail. These criminals came to my house to kill me. That's what the Supreme Court said. This is in your own ruling, in your own court, my lord. So I cannot understand, my lord, why my trial will be conducted contrary to the Constitution of Nigeria that said I must have free and unfettered access to my counsel. It's here. This is the law of Nigeria.
How to identify messenger of Lucifer? Anybody in IPOB or anybody that on general DSS dungeon puta say na Nnamdi Ezebiro zuru oji, Supreme Commander of the Indigenous People of Biafra, no zuru ozi ka ejie Chikedoziem na Chikedoziem na ya nwa aka na ya jide nke oji. That person zuru oji anya wu Lucifer. Any man or a woman na family I.O. Kanu, His Majesty Potrani, ne promote Chikedoziem, ne meka, ne nye a good image. That person was enemy of Nnamdi Kanu. It is obvious for the past 2 years that Oji, more than 30 Oji, Supreme Commander Jiri Chikedoziem and wake omene. Rather omene the opposite. South Africa na baharara, Germany na baharara, I know na court case. Italy na baharara, England a collapse on. So only any family member Mazi Nnamdi Kanu hochara hinde na-ekwu na Chikedoziem wejibo mmadụ. That man or woman who an idiot. Ya wuru nwanne Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or an idiot. Ya wuru nwaanyị alụrụ alụ or a useful efulefu eri ego eji lụọ nwaanyị ha kara iji zụrụ atụrụ maka atụrụ ka ya. How to identify